Good morning. What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to kind of share a little bit of ramble with you all. Just some things that have been on my heart. The weekend has been a really heavy weekend for me. Um, just in contemplation and just prayer. Um, had a long conversation with my younger brother, which was much needed. Great refreshment even for me. Um, but we talked a lot about just various things that people go through in life and just relationships and difficulty that people are facing and pain and addiction and different things like that and the many forms of addiction. And then last night I kind of was watching a little documentary about different addictions and stuff like that. And I'm very aware that the world is that we as people, as humans, with the human condition and different things like that, that we are very wounded, very hurt beyond words. I think people don't even have words for it anymore, and we find everything that we can to bury ourselves, or everything that we can to try to survive, or everything that we can to try and self-medicate or get over and escape feelings that we have. And the reality is, at the end of the day, they really don't work. They really don't work. So it's like you're left asking, what is it that I got to do? What can I do to get over these feelings? And sometimes we do have to realize that feelings are feelings, and we have to feel the feelings. And sometimes we try to run from those, and that's not validating them at all. That's not even just not even judging people for trying to find other ways to to get past it. But I just look at how easily it is to fall into an addiction of some type. How easy it is to fall into, whether it be a drug addiction, alcohol, whether it be sex addiction, whether it be, look, I'm gonna say this like this, whether it be a video game, because sometimes we can have recreational recreational addictions and things like that, all to escape, sometimes to escape the feelings and to escape what's really happening on the inside of us. And a lot of times our feelings, what we don't recognize is their temperature gauges. Our feelings, sometimes it tells you what the temperature is in a room. It tells you what's really happening, what's really going on. Do you need to put a coat on? Maybe should you take a coat off? And we begin to make decisions, and we begin to process our life based on certain things that we feel, not realizing that a lot of times, to make an emotional decision, to make decisions based off our emotions, which can even go into sometimes our own reasoning, can be detrimental. It can be detrimental to us, and it can even lead us into a place of further perpetuating the sickness of our soul, further perpetuating the isolation of our soul, further perpetuating the disconnectedness, and where we look up one day and we don't even know how to connect. We look up one day and our heart has grown so hard that we don't even know how to function. And I'm sure many of you said, I don't know how to function now. So I really get it. And I just kind of wanted to put this out here and let God do what God is going to do just by me even mentioning this, because I don't have any answers in this video. I don't have any answers in this. This is just something that's been on my heart that I just kind of wanted to share. And I wanted to point out, too, with those of you who are around, when you see, just pay attention to one another today. Um, this week, just pay attention to one another. People are going through some of the same things that they've always been going through, but for some reason, it seems like the times are harder. It seems like, you know, even though you've gone through a financial problem before, it seems like this one is different. Even though you've gone through identity issues before, it seems like this one is different. It seems like even though you've had relational struggles and relational breakups and different things like that, it seems like this time is just, it's so different. Um, and different in a bad way. And these are one of the most crucial times that we really need each other, that we really need to put in place our love for one another and allow that love to come forward, allow that unconditional love to kick in when the other levels of love have failed. Because guess what? That passionate kind of love, it'll fail. That don't mean you got to get out of your relationship, but sometimes it won't hold you up. That brotherly love, that philos love, that we share, that human kind of love, sometimes it'll fail. It don't mean you got to get out of the relationship, but you need something to hold it up. And the only thing that can hold it up is that unconditional love that's not based on feelings. It's not based on what the other person is doing for you. It's not based on how great things are, and we need that to kick in. So I guess the biggest thing that I'm saying is the only way you're really truly living The only way that your soul is really going to find its fullest satisfaction, and I know we're nervous about this. We don't want to do it because we've been hurt by people. I am the first one to lift my hand and say, sometimes I want to just say, forget people. But the reality is, the only way that we will survive is if we love. You know, we make a lot of decisions, and sometimes those decisions are made out of fear. But God hadn't given us the spirit of fear. But he's given us the spirit of love and power and a sound mind. And those all go together. Love, power, a sound mind. You feel weak, and it's love that's going to do it. Not just you giving love either. It's excuse me, it's actually you also receiving love. Because although you are a vessel to give love, you're also a vessel to receive love. But if we can activate that, and I know a lot of times we feel the world is hopeless, and I've really been feeling like that lately myself, to be honest and transparent with you all. But if we can find it within ourselves, within God, our relationships with God, to activate the love that he has called us to share with one another, man, it's such a powerful thing right now for many people. I heard it said by one of my mentors, Dr. Henry Cloud. He made a statement and he said, you know why your tear ducts are in your eyes? And he says, because people are supposed to be able to see your pain. And a lot of times we hide our pain. We cover our pain with drugs, with alcohol, with sex, with all of these other things that we can come up with being hard. Guys, we got to put on our macho and this is that and the other. And I'm going to say this, BS. And when I mean BS, I've come up with the term BS to mean bad spirituality. We're afraid to be vulnerable. And now the women are like that. Even the women are like that now. And at the end of the day, we're killing ourselves. We are killing ourselves. We are committing soul level suicide. And we're also committing soul level murder, believe it or not, with the way that we treat each other and the way we overlook each other. So again, really the point of this is, because I'm going on 7 minutes and this is already too long, some of y'all I'm already probably lost, but is the biggest piece of this is pay attention to your soul and pay attention to the soul of those around you. We are in some very difficult times, and I'm telling you, something is about to hit the scene that quite honestly we're not ready for. It's not that we can't be ready for it, because we are right at the verge of it. We are right near it. We are right by it. But it's going to be love that's going to get us through it. Not walking away from each other. Not saying I'm tired of dealing with you. And those things are real. Those things happen. But sometimes we walk past, not only do we walk past our own healing by overlooking each other, but we also cause somebody else to miss theirs. And I do understand that at the end of the day, God is our greatest source and God is our greatest healing. But what I want you to remember and what I want you to realize is that a lot of times God uses us to deliver our healing to us. He uses your brother that's next to you to deliver your healing to you. He uses the men and the women around you to be catalysts for your healing. And a lot of times we will overlook that because we're nervous and we're afraid about putting our dependency in another person. But the reality is, God created our souls to be interdependent. He didn't call, and I get all of the stuff about individuality. I get all the things about being an individual person. And this does not take away from that. But at the same time, you're never fully you until you connect with somebody that loves you. Until you receive love from somebody that loves you. You're never really able to come into the fullness of yourself. So do your best this week to not overlook your friends. Do your best this week to not overlook those that are in your circle. And love on them. Love on them. Love covers a multitude of sin, and I realize that love also protects people from falling into the darkness. So that's really my heart. That's my heart. I hope you all can hear what I'm saying. I hope you all can experience and feel some of the depth and the heart and the heaviness as we look at our world. Don't fall into the trap. And many of us are saying I'm already in the trap, but let's embrace one another. Let's love one another. And let's do what we need to do to pull up out of this thing and to rally together. Don't let the enemy divide your team because of fear. Don't let the enemy divide your team because of offenses. Don't let the enemy divide your team because of lack of vulnerability, lack of intimacy. lack of being able to be close. Kill the principality, not the relationship. Peace.